Okay, guys, this is my, I don't know, fourth or fifth trade idea for the day. Early on, we were looking at longs. Then very quickly, I actually pulled all of those because I didn't like the way this was acting. And that's the nature of trading, right? Things can change from the morning to the afternoon on certain days. On average, they usually don't. But when it does, I'm going to be super quick to be, always keeping any losers as small as possible, if any, and getting on board what I see happening. And what I see happening now is a shift toward the XLU names. Look at the XLU, right? There was a trough due. We put in a little higher low there, and I think this is poised really for a move back to the old highs at around 87.75. On the daily chart, here's your little higher low setup, right? That I always highlight off of the intermediate trough, and I'm going to be looking for this to really turn up. Let's see some clear white bar action on the upside as it gets bought to highs. That's what I think is likely. Jump over to Southern. Southern, we had a trade idea long, and what's really important is always be, again, watching for reentry. What is the signal here? The signal here is that we have a trough that is due, and we are holding that rising 34 week. All of the names in the XLU were telling me the same things, but this is one of the stronger names. So we tried along here first, just as a try, and then right away I pulled it right here. So no harm, no foul. But then as soon as we saw that little flush through the low, I had a price alert set up for if we get over that high. Why? Because I want to be long if that happens. And I had that happen very early today. And that was your trigger for Southern on that little W bottom after flushing out the longs. Very important to identify that. So great chart there. Also look at DUK. This is actually the origins of the trade idea today. Low that is due here, 825 to 1027, trying to turn up. This old high is at 127.68. I'm going to be looking for that to get hit. On the short term, you can see a little A, B, C down into the trough. Note that this was an earnings gap up that faded, that formed a series of lower highs and lower lows. And then look at this bar right here. Very, very important. Big move down, closed at lows. How much follow through did they get? Really nothing. In fact, they actually poked the lows by a few pennies right there. And then actually, that has set up the long counter trend play back higher. Now, what do we have? We have a little W bottom, and that's interesting. So this is now green on our site. The RS has turned positive. Slim ribbon has turned neutral. We'll see what this can do. But we're seeing buying coming in to the XLU names as we're seeing selling in the market. That's how it should work. Go back here. You can see this. This is a little W bottom, albeit it was weaker. But look at the way this traded. Traded down, base, traded up. That's how this usually plays out. That's why I'm always looking at bases. So we'll see what this wants to do. If it loses this low at 120, is a little bit of a higher low. I'm going to be pulling this, but I'm looking for some follow through fairly quickly into the 61.8, 78.6, and the old highs 124.73, 126.10, and then 127.85. We'll see what this wants to do. But again, I like that we're seeing lows that have formed in the XLU all at the same time. We're seeing lows that are forming in both SO and DUK, two of my primary focus names right now. And we'll see. Again, the ball is in the Bulls' court here in this group. Is it going to go? We just have to wait and see and let price really guide us. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Thanks again.